See what all the sunglasses?
Yeah, should have won it.
Hello everyone, welcome to our second media conference of the day. It's our great pleasure to welcome New Zealand for their eve of match briefing before their opening match against France tomorrow evening here at Stade de France. I'm delighted to have here on the top table New Zealand head coach Ian Foster, Dalton Papali'i and Mark Telea. Please raise your hand and wait for the microphone to start your question and state your organization name before asking your question. So first question, please.
Hi, Ian. It's Ollie here. Hey.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Yeah, I got you now.
Looking very good.
Thanks, mate. Fabian looks good in his glasses too, you see. So.
You've thrown me off now. Ian, what is different about the challenge of France at Stade de France when you think of the challenges of international rugby? What is different about this challenge?
Passionate country, very much a rugby country. I think it's one of the best stadiums in the world, and their ability to create an occasion is pretty special. So turn up tomorrow night, and I think you'll feel that.
G'day Ian, Finn Morton from Rugby Pass. One decision selection we didn't speak about yesterday was Finlay Christie on the bench ahead of Cam Roigard. Can you explain that decision, what you expect from Finlay tomorrow?
Just based on the work they've done. We're very confident in all three of our nines. Finn's got probably a little bit more experience at this level than what Cam has, but Cam's doing everything right. So. But, I think Finn's probably a strong defensive player, and maybe there's a little bit of an edge in that space in terms of experience there, but pretty happy with our nines at the moment.
We're going to ask the photographers to please stop the picture, please. Next question.
Dalton, I'm just wondering what will be going through your mind when you head out onto the field tomorrow?
I think there'll be quite a bit of emotion, but the good thing in this environment is that we actually do have a lot of young players who have experience, and talking on my own, I know I have a process where I always fall back on when big games like this. There are always going to be a lot of emotions going out there, but I know once it's time, when the warm up starts to happen and all that, I know I've got a job in front of me, and I put those emotions aside, and I think of being in the moment and just doing what's in front of me. So I'm looking forward to the challenge, and this is why we play rugby, for occasions like this. So yeah.
Dalton, Kim Downs, right at the back here. Speaking of emotions, you were positively buzzing at the welcome ceremony, at being here. I just wonder, what have the emotions been like since you found out you've been named to start for this game?
To be honest, you always dream of this moment, but it sometimes never comes true. But in my case, it has. And when I first got told, I was pretty over the moon. Some feelings you can't really put into words, but I was just more proud to represent this team, and also my family, getting to put my last name on the world stage, and also do it with this team that I call my family as well. I'm shaking even talking about it now. It just means so much to me, and to be going out there and doing it for myself, my family, and the boys I go to work with. Or you'd call it work, but with the ups and downs with. It's truly special, and I'm going to really soak it up. But at the end of the day, when we go out there, I've got a job to do, and that's to perform, and to perform as a team. So yeah, just excitement levels are going crazy. So yeah.
And Mark,
I think the reason he was buzzing at Leon, Kimberley, is that they were handing out baskets of food, and the French bread and the French cheese is very hard to resist.
They do hit different. They do hit different here.
Yeah, I've noticed your eating habits. And that.
Clearly haven't held it against him, Ian.
No,
I noticed none of
no.
that was shared with the media. Mark, just before I hand it on as well, New Zealand has a very long, proud history of wingers having star performances at World Cups. Can you lean into that to inspire you for this one?
Yeah, I guess New Zealand does have a rich history of great outside backs, and I'm just trying to pave my own way and try and add to my own legacy, mostly of the players I have around me. I know we have great players, great leaders, great coaching staff, and you know the amount of effort that we put in, even as an outside unit, you know, it's crazy, and we just want to go out there and perform the best we can and display the type of rugby that we play back in NZ. So.
Mark, you're obviously relatively, new to this All Black team still. Could you just talk about, I suppose, your own emotions being here, your first World Cup, when you come to a stadium like Stade de France for the first time? What is that moment like for you? And yeah, could you just talk to, I suppose, your emotions of being here for the first time?
I guess Dalton kind of touched on it there. Like, can't really put it into words. It kind of takes me back to when I first got my first debut in Scotland, when I went and met Fozzie, and he was just telling me, like, we're going to give you a crack this week and just take the opportunity. And that's kind of like this moment right now. You know, you prep the same way, you prep every time, get your mind ready, your body ready. And when the team gets named, you do whatever you can for the team, and you put your team first. And I guess that's kind of the mindset, and the emotion for me has just been overwhelming. I've been, fortunate to be selected and having the opportunity, and I just want to do the best I can, mostly because the outsides we have, anyone can step up and do what I'm doing right now. And I'm just grateful that the coaches see something in me, and I'm just going to do the best I can. So.
Hello Yann, Romain Baheux for Le Parisien aujourd'hui en France. Do you expect French team will do something during the Haka tomorrow?
I'm not sure. I guess that's their choice. Historically, they have sometimes and not other times, and we're at peace with that. We're happy for the opposition to respond however they want to respond to the Haka, and that's also to the crowd. But for us, it's a special part of our legacy, of who we are as a team, and how we connect to each other and to the past. So we know, but one thing I do know is that they'll respect it. Because they've got a history of respecting the Haka. The fact they may respond in different ways is not seen by us as a lack of respect.
Ian, hello at the back. Just in terms of your World Cup campaign, how much importance are you placing on this opening game? We saw 4 years ago South Africa lost the opening game and won the tournament. That was the first time in history that happened. So just how do you expect this opening game to shape your tournament?
Yeah, I was often asked after 2019 what we'd do differently, and I said, I'll just throw the first game. It doesn't sound that good though, does it? So, but we beat South Africa, and the way things happened, they ended up with a slightly different path into the final than what we ended up with. So you never know in tournaments, and you never know the path it's going to take. And so for us, we've got one clear goal, which is like everyone, but our clear goal is simple, is that we want to make sure that we qualify and get into a quarter-final situation, because then it's a one-off game. And, everyone's talking about this game. We've also got Namibia and Uruguay, and we've got a very, very strong and enthusiastic Italian team coming. So there's plenty ahead, but this game's special in its own right, I reckon. I think out of my third World Cup, I've never seen a build-up for a game like this one. I've never seen people put so much on it. I think the fact that it's a home nation who have got strong expectations of winning it. Their public have got strong expectations of winning it, and it's against a team that I sense that the public's got a lot of respect for. So it's well scripted, but at the end of the day, it's a game we want to go and commit everything to, and afterwards it doesn't really change whether we win or whether we lose. We've still got to qualify out of this group.
Hello, Mr. It's Nicolas Dupin-Bessa from Canal+. Question for Marc. You will face Damien Penaud, who is one of the best French players at the moment. How hard it is to prepare to face a player who is so unpredictable?
I guess it's exciting, yeah. I guess that's what you play rugby for. You play to play the best, and like I said, I'm lucky. I prepped well. I do everything I can to get physically ready for it, and I know he'll be doing the same as well. It's exciting, and I know just got to get ready for the show coming tomorrow night, so yeah.
Ian, James Cole, Sky Sports at the back here. To what extent did that defeat to South Africa hurt the group, and is there a point to prove or wrong to right in this game in particular?
Well, I don't think there's a point to prove in relation to that game. It was a game, you know, like the answer to the first question is we're always disappointed. We don't like losing, and and it was particularly the injuries and the cards that caused it to be a very disruptive performance. So how much we take out of that is critical. It hasn't altered our trajectory, we don't believe. I think it was a game stuck in the middle of a break for us. We think we needed it. I've got no regrets about it. But really it doesn't matter. You know, the only thing that matters is what we learnt out of it and applied, and now we're into a tournament. So, but yeah, second part, do we have a point to prove? Yeah, we always do. You know, I don't think you can ever hide from that. And you know, we're going to be on a very big stage tomorrow night, and we're a very proud team, and we want to play well, and we're determined to. So, and then we'll really assess after that to see where we're at and how we progress in this tournament.
Hi, Charles from the Daily Telegraph here.
Charles.
Hi. You've spoken about the spectacle and how fabulous the Stade de France is and sort of World Cup fever in Paris and all the eyeballs tomorrow night. I just wondered, given all that, the pressure actually might be much more on the French side, and although they're going to get behind their team a lot, you know, it could be like a bubble that blows up and bursts. And I was just wondering if that actually might suit you in a way, with all the eyeballs on them and all the pressure on them. For once, it's not like that usually for an All Blacks team.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt there's a lot of pressure on them, being the host. How they respond to that, I'm not sure. But the only thing we can control is, you know, we've got to make sure that we pressure them and play our game and not get caught up in the emotion of the crowd and expectations. Look, it's no stranger to us, expectation. And, you know, if we win well, then there's always that massive expectation to go and do it again and perform again. And if you lose badly, then you've got to deal with all that sort of expectation. So I think it's one area where we as a team have prepared well, how we deal with pressure, I think. But this particular group, we've got to grow under a World Cup pressure, and it is different. And so how we go about that, we'll wait and see. I think we're prepared really well. I've been proud of the way the guys have gone about their work, and not just the last couple of weeks, but since we assembled and we had some clear goals. I think we've been able to tick most of those off, and now we're ready to go. And we want to walk out on that park with shiny eyes, nice and light, and we just want to play. And we're ready to play. We've been waiting for it. And then once the ref blows his whistle, let's see what happens after that.
We have time for 2 more questions, so we'll go here in front and then in the back.
Ian, over here. Other way. Only one All Blacks team has ever won a World Cup.
Only one what, sorry?
One All Blacks team has ever won a World Cup outside of New Zealand. Is that something that's been spoken about as a group and something that's potentially spurring you on ahead of the tournament?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think I said it in the media recently. You know, like we've won 3 World Cups. We're the most successful alongside South Africa, and yet when you look at how hard it is to win World Cups, well, we've won 1 out of 7, and away from home. So it shows you the size of the task, and so, you know, the All Blacks have learned over history. You just don't turn up at a World Cup and get what you want just by being here. You've got to do something special, and you've got to play well. And there's been a lot of good All Black teams that haven't been able to achieve that. And so we kind of represent them in many ways because we've learnt some lessons out of that. 2015 was a special tournament for that regard, and yet we felt some pain in Japan. So it's not easy winning these tournaments, and this one particularly, I think we're in a strong rugby country with some strong nations at the moment. It's going to be a pretty special tournament, and there's no doubt that each of us as a group, we have to be at the peak of our game.
Last question.
Fozzie Shanaka from the Papare in Sri Lanka. And just asking about this particular tournament, there's so much competition going into it, and especially on this first game as well. There was always an aspiration for the All Blacks to win every game that they played and to win handsomely. But as a coaching unit, are you a bit more pragmatic as to how you approach this tournament, knowing that perhaps it's going to be a long one after the knockouts?
No, not at all. You know, like, I don't think there'll be a coach in the world that doesn't want to go out and is going to target winning all the games. So, and we're no different. So, we like to keep things pretty simple. Like I said at the start, you know, the goal and the thing about World Cups is everyone has a goal. You just got to get out of your pool into that quarterfinal. That's when you give yourself a chance. So, best way to do that is just to prepare well and play the game in front of you to the best of your ability. And that's about as simple as we want to be.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. C'est la fin de cette conférence.
Thank you all.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you.
La prochaine activité média sera le team announcement de l'Australie à 15h. The next media activity